Oh boy, real time light fixture. There we go. I look spooky there. I am doing a completely random live. Yes, it's late. I was in bed and then I sprung out of bed like a literal spring, jumping up and tasting life for the first time. I want to see, this is an experiment. I want to see if YouTube is going to blindly restrict monetization. This is a complete test. I want to see the way YouTube is choosing to work given all the people that are trying to have their voices heard. Let me do as I always do, an official what's up Tennessee Road Runner 2. Feel free, by the way, dude, Justin, why you deleting just you leave it there, man. We make mistakes, we leave it there, we learn to move forward. I'll tell you right now. All right, this is completely random. Ridge Runner, thank you. Tennessee Ridge Runner 2. D Libby, hello, sweetheart. Cindy D, my son's life mattered. Actions Not Distractions, Mr. President, and Queen Survivor. Wolverine, Shabbat Shalom, my brother. So, given everything that's occurred, let's see if my phone is near me. I would love to show you guys. Okay, it's on my bed. Every single video I've made, with the exception to my little comic book shorts, where I explain, honestly, as much as I love comics, it's nonsensical. It's as much as it could be an artist's um, the way they look at the world, and they could maybe create a metaphor, right? It could be just that, and maybe YouTube would get nervous over that if I shared such a thing. But it appears when I just want to share Batman, they're all good with that. If I step outside of the bounds of entertainment, if I go ahead and speak there goes my TV recording me. If I speak to what I believe is the truth about the corruption that we have to live with as a country, I start to notice that they take notice and they restrict, they punish, they basically it's like tagging you with a virus, and they're making sure that as a virus, as a voice that's open to speak about anything, you cannot spread that free thinking, that ideology that you can just say whatever you want. That's apparently a taboo. It's a faux pas. And that the idea that speaking openly and honestly is a dirty thing needs to become a thing of the past, because that is not what our country, the United States, America, was founded upon. I think of companies like YouTube and any others where cucks start to defend that, oh, they're the company and you have therefore agreed to their terms of service. You can't say whatever they don't want you to say. I'm sorry, but would you not assume that they would operate under the constitutional rights of the very country that gives them all the success in the world? I can never understand. And thankfully, all right, I won't deny, I'd say out of the blue, 80% Democratic friends of mine have begun to defend the stance of big tech and big companies to do whatever they want, which is a complete betrayal of what they've always stood for. And there's a couple of Republican friends that I have that will also say they are the billionaires and they have earned the right to call the shots. I don't. I agree with neither assessment, and I think we're at a very pivotal time, a crux, if you will. I want to be very active in this live because it's going to be brief. This is not something that was intended, planned, but I just had to. After seeing how many times YouTube has chosen to restrict every single damn thing that I do, anything of substance, anything that I want to be shared, they go ahead and make sure that you couldn't find it if you searched for it. I wanted to test out, and this is the exact video. I made sure, and I'm using the YouTube instead of StreamYard because I went ahead and just made sure that this was already in place. All right, this is everything is normal, all systems go, and we're gonna see how they choose to rock and roll. And if I wake up in the morning and I see a yellow stain on the monetization, I'll know YouTube just has me on a blacklist. And they do that. Let's not forget. And sometimes I feel awkward about sharing that, with CanCon and his partners Be Easy, and there was about six dissenting voices that were very adamant about talking about the truth, the alleged truth of how rigged the election was. They had nothing but lawyers, facts, people that worked on the campaigns come onto their channels and speak. What happened? This is no BS, and I'm proud to count myself among their number, although I didn't get blacklisted with them. I suppose, thankfully, and I'm glad that each of them are facing success, although, CanCon, Cannabis Conservative, has explained, just unfortunately, if money is the ideal, YouTube is the easiest way to go about it. But I'd like to add, CanCon, he is a veteran, a Marine veteran that he did his time. He was a great service to our country. He went ahead and kept his voice honest, and the mainstream media wrote a hit piece on him and all of his friends, and they are completely banned, blacklisted from YouTube forever, forever. I've invited them. You know what? Something interesting. CanCon. Let's get used to that name if you're not familiar with it. Josh and I, when we did Stuck in the Middle, we had CanCon come on all the time. Anytime we'd have him on, we'd have like 800 people watching us live at the same time. And then, like, it was all well and good. And after Stuck in the Middle, got a couple of strikes, all of a sudden, YouTube took it upon themselves to delete every single episode that CanCon appeared on. I told him that. He referred to YouTube as a bunch of commie bastards. He's doing fantastic on Rumble with donations, with making a living. He writes for the Gateway Pundit, which has a readership of 3 point some odd million. Please, if you have Rumble, do yourself a favor, all right? I may not speak to CanCon or Brian as often as I'd wish to. Life is a busy thing. We're all passionate, and we all, keep our sights right on our goals. We will work together again in the future. That's a guarantee. But I beseech you, get on Rumble. Just type in Cannabis Conservative or CanCon, and you'll find the man of the hour. He has spoken truth to power before YouTube lifted the restrictions. And it's a total hypocrisy that YouTube has lifted the COVID restrictions, the election restrictions. You can say this without getting a strike. This was not the case. My first strike, if you're not aware, I read a doctor's op-ed about, and the title was COVID is a lie. I read it verbatim, word for word. It was posted under the NIH on a .gov.org website. I read it aloud. I was stricken. I appealed. YouTube said, "You're not a doctor. You can't read those facts outside to an audience." And I simply said, "Free speech." I didn't add any of my own opinions. I read it. Nope. That was strike number one. That was the first time I had a doubt about this platform. I have every, I guess, positive idea in the world that YouTube can still be something that it's no longer. Maybe that's false optimism. I do believe that the way of the future, for one, I can attest to how liberating it is to go on Rumble and speak. There's more people that see you. The titles, the hashtags, they don't create a blockade. Like if I was to pick certain hashtags, if I was to make a certain title, if I said election fraud, if I said COVID BS, if I said here's some of the things I have learned that automatically rule YouTube as messing with the algorithm and the sharing of the videos we make here together. All you got to say is anything that's not politically correct. LGBTQIA, race, COVID. Even though they'll deny it, you can talk about COVID, but you can't put it in a title. Inside you, I think it's important for anybody that does use this platform for entertainment, information, podcasting, whatever it is, that you learn what the restrictions are, what the dirty pool is. And I'd like to extend a very open invite to anybody and everybody. If you ever feel an inspiration that you want to share something you've been through, experienced, learned, if there's something you feel hasn't been represented accurately or at all on this very channel, this is, I built this with the sole interest of having more people on. I do believe podcasts should be greater than its hosts plural, and it should have the people that want to speak. I've always wanted, like, as stupid as it is, I did that thing with the OnlyFans chick, right? I respected that she had a mic and she was willing to interview anybody. I want to do that. I've always wanted to do that for about 6 years now. I think after finally, as silly as it was or embarrassing, none of which impacted me. I thought it was fun, it's cool, whatever. People really hate on that chick. I'm gonna buy a similar mic. I would love to go around and walk around instead of selling my my body and my feet photos. I'd love to be like, hey, hello, younger or older American, what do you think about this issue? What do you think are the most pressing issues of our country, government? I want to get a handle. I want to get an understanding of what everyday Americans think of every age. I do get disenfranchised and oppressed when I speak to the younger generation at my job. I don't want to believe that, the ignorance I've seen, their lack of understanding, the people that are younger that I work with, they have zero interest in anything that's happening in the world. So if that's by design, if that's from every social media, TikTok dance challenge, Facebook is apparently for old people, Discord, blah, blah, blah. All they care about is that, which is just face value nonsense. It's projecting a fake image. People are more interested or intrigued with a false narrative, projecting that they are living the best life than they are with expressing what is the truth. And that is one of the greatest endeavors we have bashed our heads into with our current generation, and I guess even my generation. I still really don't know what to make of it. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I start to feel hopeless, but I can't. I watch as much as I can about people that are chasing the truth at every cost, at every expense, even if it means their own public image is slandered, just like RFK is being censored. And one thing, in my fellow right colleagues that I speak to from my job every single day, I am disappointed that I have not run into a single, right wing advocate, Trump supporter, or DeSantis supporter that has any inkling of interest of RFK. RFK, I don't like RFK because of this. I don't want him to be able to give Democrats more power. Democrats, to me, are just vampires. They want to suck up as much power as they can and call it righteousness and keep us all somehow fooled. But we're just not stupid enough to be run by Democrats again for another cycle. It makes me sick to my stomach. So I have to believe, I have to want to believe that, like RFK, he is speaking against the DNC. He's speaking against the deep state, and he has successfully gotten my attention. He has a background of doing things that has pissed off people. That's why he's being censored actively. However, he doesn't seem to be much of a blip on, I'd say, 99.8% of anybody that I consider to be friend, that I see on a daily basis, that wants to vote right wing. RFK is just not an option. I can only concede to that because I do not want a filled House or Senate with Democrats again. It's just, which is crazy given my history. And, I do have, I'm going to admit something. Okay. I do have an issue with one right wing principle. And I'm nervous, but I have to feel that this is somewhere where I can speak my truth and not be judged, not be canceled. You all are smart enough, intelligent enough to hear me out and maybe just, feel free to debate me. Feel free to discuss whatever you wish. I've had these discussions for many times in my lifetime, okay? I still consider myself a progressive patriot, mostly patriot because I want to see this country be something that I can be proud of again. That makes me a patriot. There's a lot of issues we have. When it comes to progressiveness, okay, the radical left does not represent me. There are just two simple things, and my greatest fear, maybe three. My greatest fear is that a lot of you will not understand, or you'll paint me as an enemy, or you'll write me off. And I cannot, in good conscience and good faith, carry such a fear and continue to hit that live button and show what I think to be the truth and speak my mind. So I'm going to share the things that I am worried that the audience that has joined here might disagree with me and cancel me for. But I'm willing to have discussions. Please remember this. I'm going to name them off, but I beg of you to keep your mind open and to please discuss anything with me before you just say you're on that side and I have to hate you. Okay? And I'm going to do this. All right, so Roe v. Wade. It was always a point of contention when I was on Stuck in the Middle with Josh. Josh and I would argue and debate time and time again. People would call in. I am of the belief that a woman's right to choose is inherently theirs. It was only with CanCon that we started to speak about maybe some sort of limitation or because, that life cycle and all that. So, but for the most part, I am pro choice. And it breaks my heart that that opinion, anything can be swayed, anything with due diligence and caring can be discussed. Please don't turn your back to me because I am sharing in this. That is my stance for the time being, and it has been, and it has not changed. Another thing, this one I'm not so concerned about, to be honest, is our healthcare system. I don't believe the Bernie Sanders way and him saying, what was it? I'm thinking in my mind, I'm saying Denver. No, no. Those European countries that he consistently says is a socialist, and they have Denmark. Denmark reached out to him and said, "Stop calling a socialist, you freaking moron," and he conceded. I don't want a socialist anything. I don't want a socialist country, but I do want healthcare that can better serve our people, and I will default to the progressive and progressive patriot, just being somebody that is hoping to see progress. Because when I look at the VA, when I look at people that need it the most, that are the least capable of finding any sort of respite and hope, I find myself depressed. So I don't think it's that radical to want to see our fellow Americans, taxpayers, or just regular American workers, the working class, be taken care of. If you work a full-time job, you should, at the very least, have safety nets. That doesn't have to be all social programs either. And something that I've definitely evolved on. So this maybe, I hope a lot of you will be happy to hear my my stance on climate change has changed drastically from when I was just a Bernie Sanders supporter and nothing could shake me. I now believe, as you know, as I am currently, that it has been exacerbated and made to be sensational, and it's a blind way to get a lot of people to put their money forward, and we would fall, from a position of power if we did fully invest, despite. And it's like the Democrats don't care about those consequences, and I do. I want us to stay first. I want us to stay relevant and as much as possible in power. So I no longer feel that climate change, as important as it may be, is like the most ultra issue of every issue for our parties. That easily falls to the wayside when you have, something like, hey, release the flight logs, you sons of bitches, or Hunter Biden and Biden getting busted playing nice with China, and all the witch hunting and tax dollars that are thrown blindly at Trump and his supporters and the people that did nothing wrong on January 6th. And I still maintain to this day that January 6th was a day of celebration. Very right, SD 420, and it's good to see you again, or 420. Progressive has taken a new ideology completely, but it terrifies me when I see that it's just used as a broad paint stroke, and people think, oh, Nina Turner, Ileana Omar, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, those are all cowards that sold, as far as I'm concerned their souls so that they could pander to the most powerful Democrats in their party, and the original convictions they had are dead, just like the life and the spark they once carried when they were being voted for. They're traitors, and I hope they are treated accordingly as traitors, especially Ilian Omar. She's just toting the line of being anti American, anti Christian. Remember, I'm not religious, but I think it is deplorable that she would celebrate Islam over Christianity and defend the tenets of Islam and Muhammad over, the freedoms of Christianity. I'm not a fan of any religion, but it's grotesque, and I hope to see some sort of action taken. And it's amazing that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is still able to speak as freely as she does after she lied through her teeth on January 6th about being present and feeling like she was like her life was threatened, which was a complete lie. And that was a very old step-by-step video I did. I took notes. I had like 15 pages. She lied about everything, and that's very telling of her character. Let me take a moment. Let me check out some of the comments, guys. And this is very much last minute, coming up on here. And I want to thank y'all for, when you see me come around. C Fowls, yo, brother. It's good to see ya. I think I made it clear regarding C Fowls. I just want to say, when you're ready, reach out to me. I'd like to do a special event, special live about some specific subjects that I think are very relevant. And I want to add one of the text messages I received in real time during my last live. And if you play it again, you'll see me express my disgust. A message I was sent of somebody that befriended me and used me to get close to communities she was afraid of. I said she, and turned on me when it's convenient because the majority did that. She hopped on the bandwagon, insulted me, made up lies, slander, libel, and she is now hiding amongst the very people she told me she was terrified of. That's a sad, sad, sad state of affairs. If only this individual would be willing to speak to me one on one, which has been deprived. And that's just how they wish to live. I'm not going to force anything upon them. That's for the Democrats to do. Angels Wings, it's good to see you, by the way. All right, I'm going to go from down to up, and I think this experiment, I do want to let you guys know if this is successful or not. I made sure not to say anything specific that I know that would trigger YouTube's algorithm. I haven't said anything, minus talking about the election, whatever the case. So let's see, YouTube. I am always constantly putting you all under the test. Okay. We're going to see if this video, which I've not shared any clips, there's no copyrights that can be claimed my way. We are going to see 100%. I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to post it on my community post in about 2 minutes or so, and we'll see if they have chosen to be the arbiters of, hey, you can't say that today. Let's find out. No time like the present. With that being said, I'm going to do something mysterious, okay? I can't, apparently, I was taught I cannot tell you, like, there's some legal issue here. I can't tell you what this is, and yeah, and who sent it. And when it's done, I get to keep it, and I'll tell you all what it is. If you recognize this, good for you. I'll give you a small hint, although apparently I'm risking a lot by even talking about it. If you guys remember an episode from Family Guy, and they, I have to be careful. They watch the channels they want to watch. And based on that, that information gets collected. Okay, that's it. Shh. Yeah, I know. I said it. But check it out. I love it. Yeah. So badass. I didn't even say anything out loud, so stop. Hey, holy shit. Wait, are you from way back when? And you changed your name to the proper Jane? Okay, well, anybody, or anyway, and anybody, I will bid thee good night, Justo, Mr. President, Queen, White Dragon, SD420, Sea Fowls, Angel Wings, and Justice Jane. Everybody, a White Dragon, my G. By the way, Eli, I heard your stand on things, and I'm with you on it. I do appreciate that. It does make me feel a bit more comfortable when, in a day, uh, during a time where people get canceled for simply speaking against the status quo. I personally know in my heart I cannot fear speaking the truth, no matter what audience embraces me. I would not be able to function. I would delete it all. So I have to know that we agree to disagree and that we can continue to move forward. Let's show the government we can do better than they do. All right. That's it. That's all. Good night, one and all. Sweet dreams, huh? All right.